Hey everyone, welcome to the Game Pulse channel. Today we're going to chat about 20 new open-world games that you should be keeping an eye on this year. Though, as usual, some might get pushed to next year. There's a lot to cover, so I won't drag out the intro. Enjoy the video. This is Crimson Desert, an enormous action RPG in an open world from the developers of BDO, and a game that some have dubbed the future killer of Elden Ring or The Witcher, but spoiler alert, it didn't end up being a killer of anything, as the reviews are pretty mixed right now. On one hand, the game has an incredibly vast world, sometimes stunningly beautiful, other times not so much, and a ton of different activities where you can easily lose track of time. But on the flip side, the story feels pretty forced and just there to check a box. Because, to sum it up, the plot centers around Captain Cliff, who's our main character, and his mercenary squad, the Greymanes. The catch is, you'll need to gather this squad since all your allies are scattered across different regions. By the way, the world is completely open, divided into 5 full zones that you can explore in any order. Besides the main storyline, there are other activities available like hunting, fishing, crafting, alchemy, side quests, and developing your own camp. And the combat in the game looks pretty slick too, but sadly they threw in a bit of everything, which makes it feel like a real mess. Sometimes it's tasty, but other times it makes you want to hurl, so that's why, as I mentioned, the reviews are mixed. This time, it's a new Chinese creation, or simply put, an anime gacha game in an open world called Ananta, though it used to go by a different name. To sum it up, a lot of people have dubbed it an anime version of GTA, where you play as the captain of your special squad, battling all sorts of baddies in a really beautiful open world that kind of reminds you of some Japanese town. There are tons of little streets, alleys, neon signs, and beaches. Just like in any gacha game, you gather your own team, explore the open world, complete quests for different factions, balancing between saving the world and your own interests. You can check out the local sites either on foot or by using vehicles, or even go for full-on flights, which totally remind you of that spider game from Insomniac Games. Plus, there's some pretty juicy combat with various combos and finishers. Visually, the game looks really stunning, I won't lie. But to me, it's just another Chinese clone of everything rolled into one, set to release on PC, PS5, and, of course, mobile devices. That's where the hype is, and that's what everyone's waiting for. Light No Fire, like Chrono Odyssey, was also shown a couple of years ago, and since then, it's probably one of the most anticipated games out there. At least 16 million views on the trailer say a lot. For those who don't know, the game's being developed by the creators of the stunning No Man's Sky, which is known for its controversial launch. But then, yeah, they've fixed and improved the game. I really hope the developers don't repeat those same mistakes here. Many are looking forward to Light No Fire, at least because of the gorgeous promises, as they're claiming the game will have an open world roughly the same size as our planet Earth, where you can explore every nook and cranny in search of something interesting. You can seek out these adventures solo or ideally with friends in co-op. At least the focus is on those shared explorations. You'll be able to explore the world not just on foot, but also with all sorts of creatures you'll need to tame. It looks super interesting and absolutely beautiful. It's a shame though that since the announcement, there's been no new information. It's been 2.5 years. The game is supposed to come out on PC, but when and whether it will also hit consoles is still unknown, unfortunately. Here's a game that I'm really looking forward to, and it's coming out super soon. It's the 6th installment of Forza Horizon. The Forza Horizon series has always been about amazing racing in a stunning open world. Those streets and beautiful spots in the UK from the last game are still close to my heart. Now, the 6th game finally takes us to Japan, which fans have been asking for forever. The core gameplay stays the same. We play as a young racer who arrives at the local festival, and we have to win various races while uncovering new cars, customizing them, and exploring the gorgeous corners of Japan. They promise that this 6th entry will have the largest map in the series, featuring different areas, including the streets of Tokyo. Plus, the car lineup reflects Japanese culture. I think we might be able to crash into a pole while drifting, especially since there weren't any chasers or marks in this series before. Overall, I'm super excited. It's set to drop in May on PC, Xbox, and surprisingly PS5 too. I really hope Microsoft doesn't mess this up and delivers a quality racing game. Another open-world game that just came out is the second part of Death Stranding. Quick note here, the game released last year on the PS5, and now, almost a year later, it got its port for PC as well. The second chapter of the courier's journey in this interestingly crafted post-apocalypse came out as a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, there's a group of fans who believe it's literally better than the first game in every way, while others think the opposite. Where's the truth? Honestly, it's hard to say since you really gotta play it yourself. In reality, it's a direct continuation of the first part, where we'll still be delivering various cargo from point A to point B, while facing all kinds of obstacles along the way, both natural and from enemies and anomalies. Visually, the game is super stunning. There are hardly any other projects that match its cinematic quality. Whether it's the design of the open world, where you just can't help but want to take another screenshot, or the many cutscenes and amazing facial animations. And what's great is that it all comes with fantastic optimization. Thankfully, it actually turned out well here. If you loved the first part back in the day and missed the chance to play the second one last year, now's a perfect time to fix that. This game is yet another creation in this video, and guess who's developing it? Yep, another Chinese studio. They announced this game back in May 2024, and from what I gather, it's some sort of mix between Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring, but in a free-to-play format. The game is supposed to be free. You'll find a huge open world waiting for you, a ton of different bosses, decent combat, parkour, and the ability to play in a group of up to 3 people. To sum it up, the story of this game involves a plague that's kind of like an ancient evil that's awakened and is destroying everything around. Your mission is to stop it, and you'll be doing this in 2 dimensions, real and parallel, bringing the world back to life. As for the gameplay, it's classic. An action RPG with elements from Souls games, meaning there are tough bosses, and taking them down isn't usually a one-and-done deal. The combat system isn't the easiest to master. You've got leveling up, exploring different locations, completing side quests, and all that good stuff. Overall, it looks like a beautiful game with dark fantasy vibes and a Chinese touch, plus co-op gameplay. But right now, there isn't much more info available, and I've even heard rumors that the project was cancelled, but I really hope that's not the case. Honestly, I'm sure you already know a lot about The Witcher 4 from every corner of the internet, so I'll keep it short and sweet for those who might not be up to speed. First off, the game is a narrative continuation of the amazing third installment, but the events will take place around 10 years or maybe even 15 years later. We'll be playing as Ciri, who's now a Witcher herself, and she'll be doing everything Geralt used to do. So you'll be hunting down some pretty dangerous monsters, preparing for battles, tackling various side quests, and exploring a truly gorgeous open world that's promised to be one of the most detailed in the gaming industry. Plus, all this beauty you see on your screen is said to be highly optimized with tons of intricate details. It all sounds super ambitious, just hoping they don't repeat the situation with Cyberpunk, where the game launched in pretty rough shape and didn't hit its stride until years later. Long story short, I'm really looking forward to the 4th Witcher game, but I'm also a bit cautious, let's say. Another highly anticipated open-world survival game this year. This is the second part of Subnautica, and there's a bit more info about it than there is about the forest. The concept here is pretty much the same as in the first part. It's another underwater survival game, but this time on a different planet, featuring a completely new oceanic world with its own flora and fauna. In the game, you'll still be surviving in a massive underwater world, exploring different biomes, finding useful resources, crafting necessary tools, building your base, and studying alien life as you progress through the story. By the way, you can play not just solo, but also in co-op with a friend, or even a few friends. Co-op supports up to 4 players, so if you enjoyed the first Subnautica, it's definitely worth looking forward to the second one too. It looks pretty good. By the way, it's set to release pretty soon, in May of this year in early access. However, right now it's only on PC and Xbox. It seems like the game will have its release on Sony's console a bit later, if it even gets one at all. Now let's move on to something more interesting. Back in October of last year, I got hooked on the game Project Tal. The trailer for this game is like a mashup of 3 amazing open-world games. Visually, it's got the same breathtaking beauty as Ghost of Tsushima, and when it comes to bosses, it really feels reminiscent of Monster Hunter World. Plus, it's got a bit of Dragon's Dogma in the mix with the companions who will be helping you out along the way. If the info we have is accurate, the game world is inspired by Korean mythology and the traditional toll masks used in rituals, dances, and folklore. You'll be exploring this world with your companions, battling some seriously epic bosses where you'll need to find their weak spots and hit them, just like in Monster Hunter World. Oh, and I almost forgot it. Each companion is unique, with their own skills and fighting styles. Honestly, it looks fantastic. Plus, Korean mythology is a pretty rare setting compared to typical Western fantasy. Unfortunately, there's no release date yet, but it's set to come out on PC, PS5, and Xbox, so we're definitely looking forward to it. So, this is a remake of the legendary first Gothic game, which came out like 25 years ago, if I'm remembering right, back in 2001. And by the way, this remake, just like Fable, is also a long time coming. The announcement was back in 2020, and just in February of this year, the game finally got a release date. That's June 5th, which is like a summer gift, so to speak. Here's the deal. You play as an unnamed poor soul who ends up in a pretty brutal world, starting out as a total weakling with no gear. But through quests, fights, and choices, you can become either a hero or a villain, affecting different factions and the overall balance of power. In terms of gameplay, it's a pure modern action RPG in an open world, built on Unreal Engine 5. You'll need to explore the world, progress through the story, find useful and interesting stuff, and fight enemies through a not-so-easy combat system. The developers promise to keep the vibe of the original Gothic alive, a living world where NPCs really react to your actions, various bosses, and around 50 hours of content for a playthrough. Sounds at least pretty good, and we'll find out how it actually is at launch early this summer. Just a reminder, the game is coming out on PC, Xbox, and PS5, so we're definitely looking forward to that. But while we're at it, mentioning new open-world games, we gotta talk about the one that's gonna overshadow everything else out there right now. Obviously, I'm talking about the 6th installment of GTA. It's set to drop this year, and from what I gathered, it's happening in the fall, even though it was originally supposed to come out in the spring. I have a feeling it's gonna make quite a splash. Just like with the 4th Witcher game, I don't think there's any point in dragging this out. You all know what's up. So let me break it down real quick for anyone who's just waking up from a coma and doesn't know what's going on. The new Grand Theft Auto is promising to be the most detailed game from Rockstar yet, and honestly, after Red Dead Redemption 2, it seems hard to top that. The story will be set in a fictional state that really resembles Florida, and it's a new version of Vice City. Plus, we'll be controlling 2 main characters. Lucy, the first female lead in the series, is taking center stage alongside her boyfriend Jason. And we all know the local tale of Bonnie and Clyde, who dive into yet another huge and intriguing crime story. It's a bummer, though, that the game will only launch on consoles, at least for a while. The PC port from Rockstar will probably take a couple of years to come out, just like it did with GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and other games from the studio. Overall, I'm super excited and really hope it's going to be a total knockout. Another super interesting game that caught my attention, and I'm sure many others too, is Project Windless, which was recently showcased in February, and everyone really liked the unexpectedly unique main character. Unlike other projects where you typically control a human, here you suddenly get to play as a giant white anthropomorphic rooster, who, using a sword, similar to Dynasty Warriors, will take on a whole crowd of enemies. As for the story setup, the continent in the game, which is set in an open world, is engulfed in war. Our mission, as I understand it, is to stop it by destroying everything in our path. And I won't lie, the combat looks pretty intense. When it comes to games in the style of Dynasty Warriors, you can count them on one hand. Interestingly enough, the game's setting is also based on Korean mythology. It's being developed on Unreal Engine 5, looks really beautiful, and it seems like it's supposed to launch first on PS5, and then maybe it'll make its way to PC and Xbox. But I haven't found any solid info confirming that yet. Next up is The Third Forest, a game about which there's hardly any info at all right now, so there's not much to say. They revealed it back in December of last year, and right away it shocked everyone with its trailer. Instead of yet another island where you crash and survive among cannibals, the game unexpectedly changed direction. And now it's a sci-fi survival game with horror elements, since the events take place on an unknown planet. However, despite the dramatic shift in setting, the core gameplay remains the same. It'll still be a survival game where you build your base, slowly progress through the story, play solo or in co-op, and try not to get taken out by the new threats waiting for you. It looks unusual and at least intriguing, at least for me. I love sci-fi themes, so I'll be keeping an eye on it. Just a shame there's no release date yet. All we know is that the game will initially launch on PC and then it might come to consoles too. Next up is Phantom Blade Zero, a Chinese action RPG that was announced back in 2023. Even then, the game grabbed the attention of many gamers with just its trailer and the concept. It's like a mix of Black Myth, Wukong, and maybe Sekiro, where you play as an elite assassin tasked with taking out various supernatural creatures. Sounds pretty cool, right? Someone sets you up for the murder of a leader and you get cursed to live only 65 more days. During that time, you'll need to uncover the truth, clear your name from all accusations, unravel a nasty conspiracy, and of course, get revenge on everyone involved. The combat looks really, really awesome. The combos, animations, and finishers here are definitely impressive. Plus, there are different fighting styles, and the graphics are top-notch. The game runs on Unreal Engine 5, so visuals shouldn't be an issue, just hoping the optimization is on point too. Just a reminder that the game drops in September. Seems like on the 9th for PC and PS5, but whether it's coming to Xbox is still up in the air. Let's hope this creation makes its way to that platform sooner or later. So, this is Horizon Steel Frontiers, an unexpected spin-off in the Horizon series from Guerrilla Games, but not exactly directly from them. There are also some Korean developers involved. It's going to be a pure MMO with an open world in the spirit of Horizon, but with a focus on playing with other players. The world, which makes sense, takes its foundation from the Horizon universe, but you'll be exploring a completely new area where you create your character and head out to hunt wild machines either solo or with friends. You won't just be doing the usual routine of taking down metal robots, but you can also team up with other players, form alliances, and basically survive together. The developers promise that the game will be cross-platform. You'll be able to play it on PC as well as, surprisingly, mobile devices. For some reason, I couldn't find any info on whether the game will be available on Sony consoles. Plus, you'll be able to organize full-on raids against different bosses. What's interesting is that there won't be any PvP battles. The focus is strictly on cooperative gameplay. There's also customization for weapons, characters, various builds, and other mechanics typical of MMORPG games. Overall, it looks solid, but it's not for me. I generally steer clear of this genre, but I'm sure there are plenty of people who are really looking forward to the game. It might possibly come out this year, but that's not a guarantee. This game was just announced recently, to be exact, back in January of this year. And like many other projects, this one caught attention with its trailer. Here's the setup. The game takes place during the late Ming Dynasty in China, when the empire is teetering on the brink of collapse, and you play as an ordinary boatman. After an unexpected twist, he finds himself embedded in the elite Imperial Guard, taking on missions for both the guards and the black market. As for gameplay, there are several interesting mechanics promised. Parkour makes a return, allowing you to jump between rooftops and climb walls. There's also a pretty well-crafted combat system, using various types of weapons including blocks, parries, dodges, and combos. Plus, there's a deduction or time mechanic, which is unique and allows you to revisit sections, analyze events, and predict the future within a level to change the outcome of missions. The game is promised to be strictly single-player without any multiplayer or co-op modes. Unfortunately, there's no exact release date yet, just the platforms, but you can look forward to it on PC and PS5. It looks intriguing, so we're excited to see more. Another interesting open-world project from the talented folks at Playground Games that a lot of people have been waiting for is the remake or reimagining of Fable. They announced this game, if I remember correctly, back in 2020, and it was supposed to drop in 2025. But now it looks like it's only coming out this year, and even that's not set in stone. From the material that the developers have released, it definitely feels like classic Fable. It's an open-world RPG where you can be either a hero or a villain, and your choices impact the environment. Plus, the game promises that signature humor with a British twist. Graphically, it actually looks pretty good, and surprisingly, the game is being developed on the same engine used for the Forza Horizon series. It's hard to say how it'll all work out with this genre, but I'm hoping for the best. If you love open-world RPGs, then I think waiting for this new gem from Microsoft is totally worth it. Just hoping we don't see a repeat of what happened with Starfield, if you catch my drift. Hey, remember how many times the gaming industry has announced yet another GTA killer that looked a lot like it but never really made the cut? Honestly, I've lost count at this point. Anyway, recently there's been another one that popped up called Samson. And it's being developed by a creative director who gifted us games like Just Cause and Mad Max. The project is being built on Unreal Engine 5, which is super obvious right off the bat. In the story, we play as a scruffy main character who's supposedly a former fighter returning to his hometown. The place kind of gives off vibes of both Chicago and New York all rolled into one. Your mission is to pay off a debt to some pretty influential folks, since that debt just keeps piling up with interest every single day. So, you'll be diving into the typical routine for GTA players. Stealing cars, evading cops, and getting into some seriously cool brawls with your enemies. I gotta say, the combat looks really interesting and awesome. The game promises to be pretty short and won't stretch the gameplay over hundreds of hours. It's actually coming out pretty soon on April 8th. It'll launch first on PC, and then, if all goes well, it might get a console port later on. So, we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for it. Next up, we have Chrono Odyssey. This game was shown off a couple of years ago, and since then, a lot of folks have been eagerly waiting for it. Because from the trailers we've seen, it looks ridiculously good. But let's take it step by step, in case you haven't heard anything about it. To put it simply, the first thing you should know is that it's a massive MMORPG set in a stunning open world. Kind of reminiscent at times of another game in this genre, New World. The world itself is a place where time is power. You play as someone who can manipulate time and use it to your advantage to battle gods, monsters, and various factions. The game promises at least an interesting and even epic storyline about traveling through time and space. It's all about saving the world from chaos, complete with a ton of lore about ancient civilizations and gods. But as is often the case, the story will probably be added just for the sake of it. However, one thing to praise about the game, at least from the trailers we've seen, is the graphics. It looks like true next-gen. The world is also beautiful, with diverse locations and biomes, and the battles look lively. Overall, I'm hoping for a quality MMORPG release. I really hope the developers nail it. By the way, the game is supposed to come out on PC, PS5, and Xbox. It's a bummer there's no exact date yet. Though it was initially planned to